well, I'm heartbroken that women can't be vulnerable in storytelling anymore.
Right?
Like Ray's just an absolute Mary Sue.
Yep.
It's no wonder
That'd
that
be
nobody
perfect.
liked her. She was just perfect from the
Yep.
right from the beginning. So many things that shouldn't have worked with her character at all. There was such little consistency. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yep. And like, yeah, fuck, man. Happens a lot. And like, you just can't, man, I could talk about women in film, but I shouldn't. But I want to get my ass kicked.
I
I want
was
to get
gonna say
canceled.
I get 10 views per episode kind of thing. So there aren't a lot of people. It's more for us.
Hell
But
yeah.
if
Um,
that's probably something that needs to be said. Same with Captain Marvel. That was something that
oh, that was one of the worst, absolute waste, biggest waste of times I've ever seen.
yeah.
Like, it's super annoying. Like, you just need to make a movie. Like, I don't know. It's just really annoying to me. Like, this whole thing of I don't know. It's hard to say because like there does need to be representation in film, but I really it's so hard. I gotta tiptoe around this. I hate not hate. I think people are getting too wrapped up in the idea about representation in
Mhm.
film, and it's really annoying because like you just need to make fucking good movies and just that's it. Like there this talk about maybe it is because I don't know, and that's why I always think maybe I just need to learn more, blah blah, because I am a white man, and that's and again, like we have seen that for so long, and like I do agree that there does need to be representation of things, but again, it's also like, what am I going on about? Like, yeah, it can't substitute
Mhm.
for a good story or just a good movie. That's what I mean. Like, yeah, you can't substitute that. And it's really pissing me off about like so many movies are starting to just do this now where it's changed things because you can, or for some reason, or I don't know, it's just so annoying.
There's the moral obligation to change
Yeah,
things. I'm not.
exactly.
Okay, I don't know. Go back 30 years, and I think that besides besides Stallone and like not Rocky, Rambo. So go watch Rambo, go watch Predator, then go watch Alien, and go watch Terminator. Those are just like T2, Alien, the most badass
Yep.
chick characters in the entire world. Like your
And,
character should not suffer for diversity,
yep.
and I don't think that characters should suffer to give women the impression that they have to be perfect all the time.
Yep.
Those are fundamentally flawed characters that grow over their time. They don't start off as perfect, and I think that's a part of it is having, like you said, the theme of a movie should not be put at a higher value than the content of the movie or any
Exactly.
type of writing for that matter. And what it does is just make you not like a character. It doesn't make you like a film, and then it just makes it even worse. So
Yep.
then it has people. I'm not a huge fan of diversity quotas and
No.
shoehorning random diversity into a film or into a story just for the sake of having diversity. Obviously, that should be
And especially pre-established. That's the
yeah,
part that gets me.
right.
Like, I can't. Yeah, that's the thing that really it just is annoying. Is when it's just here's the things you like, but it's gonna be different now. It's
Hmm.
just like, okay, like give me like because that's the whole issue. Like, because like Captain Marvel, for example, where
Captain
I
Marvel's a
didn't
dude.
like it. Oh yeah, no,
In the comic books, Captain Marvel's a dude.
was he? I thought he was a girl at first, or did it switch? Wasn't there like two Captain Marvels?
I think so. I think it turns into a girl later on, but the
Okay,
origin Captain Marvel, I think, is a dude. I think his name's
yeah.
Adam.
Or is that the DC version? I know there's a Captain Marvel in DC, but they had to switch names.
Hmm.
I might be tripping.
No, no. Yeah, you probably know more than I do.
Or
So,
I don't even know.
but
There's
sorry, I
too
cut
many.
you off.
Uh, yeah, where it's just like, that movie is just awful because it's a terrible movie. But like that's one where I don't get mad because character was an established female character. Great,
Mhm.
that's what you need. But like this is where it gets iffy in comic book movies because it's like it works if it's being established because now we're getting these things like Iron Heart, if you know what that is, where
No.
it's a comic book where it's it's a black girl Iron Man now.
Mhm.
Um, and now we're getting the film, the Disney Plus show of it now because Tony Stark's dead, so now this black girl is gonna take care. But that came from the comics, and that was it literally just to turn Iron Man into a black female.
Mhm.
But it does work because it's not just a reboot or changing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's literally like, oh, and now I can see it working in the movies because it's literally like, hey, Tony Stark's dead. This person is like, the protege or whatever comes in and picking up the mantle type of thing.
Mhm.
So that's where I can see it working. But like, yeah, just straight up changing things for no apparent reason is annoying.
I think they did that with the Eternals. I think I've seen the first, like
Yeah,
I've seen the first trailer, but like the Eternals are.
Salma
Uh,
Hayek was apparently her character's a guy apparently,
mhm.
and like that's where I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just it's weird because I almost don't care because it's like, who the fuck even knows the Eternals?
Yeah.
It's like Ghostbusters is the biggest example. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like that has no purpose whatsoever to have been a reboot of with women, and it did nothing for the film whatsoever. Like,
Well, I think it took it down a few notches, if
oh
anything.
yeah, it's awful. But like, and that's what I mean. Like, that's a great example of just changing it for a quota and having it do absolutely nothing.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, great.
Yeah, if it can
Yeah,
be incorporated into the storytelling. And
yeah, exactly.
obviously, representation is super important, but
And I would have been
changing an entire changing an
oh,
entire character just to fit a quota is
yeah,
frustrating.
exactly. And I totally would have been fine. And also how you do it in context, because like it would have been fine, and like what they're doing now, and that I don't want to really talk much of it. But another thing too, I worked on the new Ghostbusters. That was like right after high school. I mean, not high school, right after I graduated film school. My first like big production I worked on was actually Ghostbusters
Mhm.
Afterlife, which was really fun. And that is one where I guess because they're in trailers, it's weird because like it's not out yet, but like basically the two main characters is or one female girl, female. They're two kids basically, but one's a female and one's an Asian kid, Asian
Mhm.
boy. And it's like, you know what I mean? Just from like hearing that, it
Mhm.
sounds like what we're just talking about, where it's just let's chuck these in because that's what's needed. That's what's hot right now.
Mhm.
Women and Asians, and
Yeah.
literally like that's kind of what is in. But it is incorporated into the story perfectly because it's like this is Egon's daughter or Egon's granddaughter, sorry, and
Mhm.
then it's her friend from high school, or not high school, just friend from school that is into tech, and they're both just nerds, and
Right.
it just works. And it's not just yeah, it's just like they're just there. It's just it's just the fact it's incorporated very well.
Mhm.
It's his granddaughter. It's just interesting seeing like how you can do it again, but have it done right. Like
Yeah.
you can have female Ghostbusters, but why the fuck does it have to be a reboot? Like,
Mhm.
why do you have to ignore the amazing, already established, like original? That's the thing that killed
Yeah.
it. So yeah, it's always a depending type of thing.
What and like a ton of those movies just bomb. Like anytime that identity politics get too steeped in things, and I think it might have been good. Like a lot of the times, I think that especially the new wave feminist movies, they just alienate 50% of their target audience.
Yeah,
Like if you're just going to completely alienate men from watching your movie, then your box office isn't going to be as big. But like, I don't know. Looking in the past, it doesn't seem that there's a glass window that needs to be shattered right now. There have been tons of badass women in movies and film that haven't been the damsel in distress, and I'm not sure why that history's been
It's very
more or
weird.
less just like erased, just glossed over, like, no, that didn't happen. Now we need to,
It
now
really
there's
annoys
been
me,
an impression.
and it's almost like, and I brought it up to people. Like, there's even in like my film class. Like, there's one time where it's like, there's no women directors. There's why there needs to be more women directors in film. And I'm just like, have you heard of this lady? Have you heard of Patty Jenkins? Have you heard of blah blah? Have you heard of this? And like, oh, it's so annoying. Like, it's like I can name a million fucking amazing female directors.
Mhm.
It's like, do your fucking work, or it's just, it's so weird to me. Like, it's yeah, it's like it has to be a big blockbuster for it to make everyone happy. Like,
Mhm.
for some stupid reason, I don't know. It's just weird.
Well, and a lot of the time, I don't know who's directed a movie unless it's a really good movie, and then I'll go and look at the directors. It's not as if I'm going to films that only have male directors. There was a
Exactly.
there was a Bill Burr. Bill Burr was walking out of a comedy show one day, and there's this video of a lady running up to him, and she keeps on asking him why there aren't any female comedians. And Bill Burr,
Yes.
Bill Burr says, "Nobody cares what's between your legs. Like, if you go out and kill every single night, nobody's going to care if you're a male or a female.
Yeah.
Go and kill every single night, and you'll be successful.
It's
Nobody
it's,
cares."
it's so true. And that's like, that's the one, and like that's the part where I don't even like, again, like, you hard like, to almost not even like think about, because I like, to me, yeah, you just said Alien and Terminator 2 are just fucking amazing movies, amazing action films. It's just, I don't even think twice about the fact she's a woman. Like, who really gives a shit?
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just, they're badasses. It's a kick-ass film. Boom. It's like, I don't need to write an essay about how, well, she's a strong woman, and well, it's just weird to me. Like, what does it do?
Mhm.
But like, and yeah, it's just so weird, and it's almost, yeah, it gets so ignored. And like a great example, same year as Ghostbusters, the female that came out was Annihilation. You seen that one with
Mhm.
Natalie Portman?
Yeah.
It, like, super well done, super smart, all starring females, all star like, who are in roles of scientists,
Mhm.
very smart females. And then, it's everything that these people fucking want in the movies, and it then bombs at the box office.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck you for complaining about there's gonna be no movies for female led, because you're not going to go see them. Like, that's the one. It's just so
Mhm.
annoying. Like, there are a million movies like this that come out every year that people complain that there isn't a movie of, but they just, because they don't see it. Like, that's what gets me.
Yeah. Like, go vote with your dollar. It's the best thing that you
Exactly.
can do.
Yeah. Literally, that's it. Like, that's the biggest thing, is voting with your dollar. It's like, and this thing with like black filmmakers. It's like, what the hell? There's like, every year there's a black movie and black filmmaker out. Like, why is it all of a sudden this thing about there's no black filmmakers? Like, what the hell? Like, I can
Mhm.
name a billion black filmmakers, like, for you. Like, it's so crazy to me. Maybe it's because like I'm a film head, but it's like, yeah, it's just like, people complain, but they don't know what they're complaining about.
I was going to say, I think that's what ends up happening is that people have a priori of what they believe, and they don't try to disconfirm that bias at all. They just go out
Yeah,
and find well, first off, I don't even think people go off and try to find things that confirm their bias, but they just say that their bias is true without
yeah,
looking into it. And yeah, like you said, you know far more than I do, and the fact that you can name, like, female directors and black storytellers,
yeah.
it's, yeah, I hope that the identity politics and everything stops. And I don't think that equality of outcome in every single thing is going to happen. And I don't think that
Exactly.
that's exactly what we want. If we want the best storytellers, then we probably just want the best storytellers, not the best black or female storytellers, or Asian, or even white. Like, I don't care if it's, I look at the music industry, and that's been largely black led
Yeah,
since the colonial founding of America. It's just been black people coming up with revolutionary music time and time again.
exactly.
I've never looked at music and said, well, we need more white people creating different types of music. I don't think that exactly does the I don't think that that gives music the best opportunity to flourish. If I'm saying only these people are allowed to work on this, and if anybody
Exactly.
else does, then it's racist or it's sexist or it's any of those things.
Exactly. And like the whole thing too of like, yeah, it's just it calling it that stuff too. Like, like black, like just even saying black movies, like
Mm-hmm.
it's black person movie. It's like maybe it's just like it is important for people to have, a black movie, but it's like I don't know, it's weird. I don't have white movies. Like what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Maybe because that's we'll say, that's because that's all movies since the beginning of time. It's always been white, but it's like I don't know. I don't know.
I
It's movie
oh,
for movie.
I saw an interview with Keegan Peele. I think that's his name. The
Oh yeah,
no Keegan
Jordan Peele,
Jordan. No,
the director.
the yeah, the
Keegan,
director. Sorry, not Keegan. Keegan's the taller guy, right?
yeah.
On
The
Key and
one
Peele.
who went and the one who did Get Out. You're talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He has an interview where he talks about like he doesn't want to do white movies. I have no idea what that means.
yeah.
Like I would, yeah, I'd love to know what that does mean because
I don't
that's
understand.
interesting to me.
And like, because the thing I really liked about it, that's so weird. Is like, the thing I liked about his movies too is like, well, kind of with Get Out, because it was about being black, but it's like it wasn't explicitly just like about being black. If that makes sense. Like, I guess it was an undertone of like about racism, but it
Right.
wasn't like, hey, I'm black. You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
lot of movies will do, or yeah, beat you over the head with it. And same with Us. Like I thought Us worked. I really liked Us.
Mhm.
And yeah, I actually watched that a bit ago. And then it also had a bit of undertones of like racism, but it wasn't explicitly like, yeah, beating you over the head. I felt with it,
Yeah.
which is nice. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's the I go to movies to be entertained. If it's a good movie, then I'll like it
yeah,
and I'll keep seeing the director or the whoever the writer is. But I don't know if it's a bad movie. I don't want to go see it. Like I don't really like Star Wars anymore. I don't really want to go and watch
exactly.
any more Star Wars stuff because they really
Absolutely.
botched the new movies.
Yeah, I'm done. Actually, I watched The Mandalorian and that shit was fucking amazing. So
Mandalorian was sweet. That was tight.